The Spiegel Grove was an interesting project. We decided that we needed a shipwreck here, an artificial reef. There were plenty of historical wrecks, but we wanted a big modern wreck. Our first project in 1987 was the acquisition of 2 Coast Guard cutters, the Bibb and the Duane. That went so well that many of the people who were involved in organizing that project said, well, you know, let's get a bigger, better ship. So once we identified the vessel, that's really the beginning of it.
So we went up to the James River Reserve Fleet, a fleet of 104 mothballed ships, and we found a Spiegel Grove.
On average, it costs the taxpayers about $20,000 per ship per year to maintain these scrap candidates here. I would think it makes economic sense for us to pay to clean up these vessels for sinking here in our waters. When it goes in the water, it's an economic benefit to the community around it. It's an environmental benefit. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
We want to make sure that all the stuff that can damage the environment is off this vessel.
It's the largest ship ever intentionally sunk for the sport of scuba diving. Easily 100 dives could be made on this ship and you wouldn't be able to see it all.
Anybody who knows the story of this vessel will realize that we had it down here ready to sink. On the day of sinking, it took water when it wasn't supposed to take water. We were left with a ship with the bow sticking out, the stern on the bottom, and some consternation here for this whole community.
The ship sunk earlier than we expected it to, and unfortunately it actually rolled over, and so right now the bottom front of the ship is up out of the water.
It's not actually sitting on the superstructure, so that's a very good thing. We've got an air pocket that's holding the vessel in one position. We have 4 anchors deployed just as they were supposed to be, so the boat's not going anywhere. It still has its hull integrity and it's staying upright. And you know what? Our ultimate intent is to do what we intended from day one, to put this vessel on the bottom where it's supposed to be, upright, and to create the world's best artificial reef dive.
So we did what we had to do. We got a marine salvage team in here.
Our divers are cutting holes so we can attach the lift bags to help to give us our righting arm to turn the ship around. We're injecting 1,500 tons of air in the ballast tanks. Forward, we're going to inflate 600 tons to 500 tons of lift bags, and simultaneously we're going to use tugboats to pull the ship over onto its bottom.
We were able to sink it on its side, so it was a very, very popular dive attraction for a couple years on its side. Hurricane Dennis came through. It generated big wind-driven waves. Those huge waves actually picked up the Spiegel Grove and set it upright. Now she's a beautiful shipwreck. It's a hugely popular attraction for Key Largo.
So now we have a complete upright ship sitting on her keel, and she starts at 64 feet all the way down to her lower keel. Her propellers in about 140. Beautiful dive, and a must-do for all advanced divers.
But the Spiegel Grove is a much different dive in that it is so immense. We're talking 512 feet long, but we're also talking an 80-foot beam. So when you dive it, you'll see a bit of it. You'll never see the whole wreck.